Wait, I just hit go.
The Bulldozer Matt Tremont, the 8-time Deathmatch Tournament winner, the former 2-time world champion, the owner of H2O Wrestling. And if there is one podcast to listen to, that is the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Let's get ultraviolet, motherfuckers.
And good evening once again, fans. You're listening to the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. They're more than welcome to come on too anytime they want to come on.
Oh man, the girls pop good like this.
Alright.
It's a budget thing.
Let's see what he's up to.
Thank you, man, and thank you for giving me the time.
Tune in right now. And good evening, everyone. You're listening to the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. My guest at this time, and actually we're going to be joined by his partner. At this time, my guests are, let me tell you right now, Spaceman Jones and Mook. And we're going to be talking to them from Urban Wrestling, Combat Wrestling.
Urban Combat Wrestling, yeah.
Urban Combat Wrestling.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for having us on, Dave. We love the Deathmatch Podcast. And
I appreciate that.
And you had a couple of our guys, the White Claw Outlaw, on, and I think they gave you a pretty rough time. Those guys are a hard interview.
You know what? Those guys are they're outlaws. What do you expect? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
they just imagine if you gotta have them working for you in any capacity.
But you know, you're around them all the time, so I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So how you been doing during 2021?
2021, my gosh, man. 2021 is launching off the right way. Podcasts galore are coming up, and if you have anybody, bring them on the podcast. They're more glad to come on the podcast to share their stories of wrestling and how they got involved with you as well, and you know, your promotion and much more. But besides that, I just podcasting and just got my big sponsorship coming up in actually on the 29th and 30th for Game Changer Wrestling is doing a Fight Forever event on YouTube for free. Game Changer Wrestling is doing a 24-hour marathon show. So,
oh wow, that's cool.
It's going to be something to check out. So if you I'm sure you heard of GCW, and they're, you know, they do always strong with all the wrestlers.
Yeah,
and
GCW, yeah, man.
You know, a lot of the talent is just, and you know, it's a rough time, and so they're going to take donations and put on a 24-hour wrestling show. So you never know who will be in the building.
Wow.
You know, yeah, at the
coordination. That's making me like. I need to go get my Pepto-Bismol now, thinking about managing that whole thing. Like, good God.
Yeah, I know. Big props to the owner Brett Lauderdale and
man,
and to the staff and to KG on commentary and MLJ. Those two guys put the work in the grind in.
Yeah.
KG. I'm sure you heard that name, Kevin Gill. You know, really one of those out from California. So
one of the top guys on the stick, man, calling wrestling, man, in the whole country, really.
Yeah, his voice is heard, and like he can tell you play by play, and he knows so many wrestlings from ICW. I mean, hell, he's created video games. Come on, shit, from back in the heyday. Come on, backyard wrestling. You know, that was his. Yeah. It's amazing, like, you know, the genre, you know, what people could go through in the industry, and to get around people and to, you know, be around so much wrestling. I mean, my God, you know, big ups to him.
To be able to keep it fresh and to stay relevant, and to be able to reinvent yourself without using all of the politics that a lot of guys use to stay relevant for a long time. To be able to reinvent yourself and stay like with your finger on the pulse of the culture, and like move along and change with the times, man. Kudos to that cat. You know, I'm looking at him as like he's like another. He's like the god of. He's like the god of the voice. You know, like he's just the god on the mic. You know, like Larry Legend. There's another guy. Shout out to him. You know, just a
definitely a voice that's heard.
Yeah.
God, they're just the people and the new generation. There's so much new generation that's out there.
My favorite announcer right now on the Indies is a guy named Corky McCorkle out of Knoxville. He's
really?
Yeah, man. He's of the kind of like Bob Caudle, Gordon Soley, old school type of, but very sharp and able to be the foil. Sometimes you need a foil for a real witty color man. You need that straight guy who's kind of square, but Corky know his shit, and just remember that name, Corky McCorkle, when it comes to play-by-play guys, especially the play-by-play guys. Not so much color, but play-by-play. He's the guy. We're gonna be using him a lot upcoming future in UCW for sure.
Oh man, once 2021, man, I love to make the trips. That ultimate goals. I'm gonna meet all my podcast friends and get to we're gonna get together eventually. That's the whole plan, is to have fun, just to have fun. Chill.
Yeah, man, we'll definitely bring you down, man. We'll bring you back to our hometown show. We are based out of Asheville, North Carolina. Real beautiful town, like the jewel of the Blue Ridge. Got a lot of good eating, a lot of good nightlife, a lot of good everything, trails, and a lot of art, and it's a world-class vacation destination. So whenever you come through, man, we're gonna show you a good time.
And if you ever want to come to the East Coast, come to the Jersey Shore, man. I'm
definitely love it, man.
I am smack in the. I'll tell you what. I'm blessed where my town is smack in between where the tourist spots are. Is Point Pleasant Beach, Point Pleasant Boardwalk, and Seaside Heights, and then an hour ride to AC. Come on, you can't go wrong. Or New York, New York the other way. Come on.
Hey, we're definitely looking at touring up and down the East Coast whenever they give the all clear on this old COVID thing. We got homies all up and down the East Coast and venues that want to bring the UCW brand, the Urban Combat Wrestling brand.
Well, guess who's in the room right now? Let's.
I'm hoping it's the homie.
It is. Let me get him in here. It's gonna probably shoot this video square off, but if it does, we'll just do a different dimension. Let me see what I want to do here. I'm going to do this. I might just go black for this one. What do you think? Yeah. There's no color in the oh, really? Doesn't let me do that? Does not let me have blank. What is that? Trees, whatever. We're going to have some happy trees in the background today.
I love happy trees.
Yes. The happy trees are always growing, Okay, let me get this guy this link. Cut and paste. Oops, stay with me. Where did it go? I just had it. I wish they would just integrate the stuff with the stuff. You know what I mean? Instead of going to Messenger, going here, go to there. Where are we? But anyway, what else is going on with you? Let's talk while I'm doing this little.
Yeah, man. Well, just trying to get all of the stuff ready and restructuring our business right now to prepare for after COVID. I don't want to. Well, yeah, let's say we just preparing our business for after COVID, getting ready to drop a lot of content. And I'm also still making a ton of music. I got 2 albums already, like 2 EPs ready to go. We're gonna drop something on vinyl for the first time this year with my band, Spaceman Jones and the Motherships. But it's just me and the producer. But we like a band. We got so much sauce. We a whole band, just the 2 of us.
Let's move this banner now, because we're gonna have more people in here. Gotta crowd the room, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, what made you get into the scene of wrestling? What made you get a part of the business? Like to be.
I've been loving wrestling my whole life. I was always a fan. I was always a armchair booker. You know what I'm saying? I was always a guy who was interested in the processes of making the show come to life. My main man who we about to come on, Mook, the BTSG, he was training down at the School of Morton in East Tennessee. Me and him we both live in Asheville, so we was kind of moving in the same circles musically. we took a class together and kind of got tight. And we was supposed to make music together, but every time we come to the house, he come over to the house, we end up just talking wrestling the whole time.
Yeah.
So he was like, man, just come down to the school. And it took him a while, like a year of him pestering me kind of to come down to the school. I finally took a day and went down there, and shout out to the School of Morton, shout out to Ricky Morton, shout out to James Strange, Lisa Strange, Ryan Strange, all them folks, you know, for really showing me the ropes in wrestling, and we had some great times. You know, that chapter came to an end, and we struck out on our own with Urban Combat Wrestling, and we've been running ever since. It's been close to 2 years now that we've been out on our own, doing our own thing. COVID has really slowed us up a little bit.
Yeah, I know, man.
We were still, but the thing is, we were still able to maintain our connection with the community, you know. So that has been really, really, really fortunate for us that people haven't forgot about us, and they still are excited about when the brand is coming back for live shows.
Yeah, because you know what, the audience needs, your fans need it, and you know the crowds are just thirsty, you know that, and they just love it. Wrestling's wrestling, you know.
Yeah.
As I always say, you put a smile on the face of a child and a handicapped person or an elderly person or you know just a family member. It's just a great feeling, you know. It really is. And
we don't get a lot of those folks at our shows because we normally do. We are kind of different than a lot of the promotions in the area. We don't cater to the family-friendly crowd. We are like pretty much an adult space. You got to show your ID before you get in. We get a little bit wild.
Yeah,
we have had a couple of shows this summer. We had a real special show celebrating the Juneteenth holiday back in. It was, oh my God, I can't even remember. It was either the 20th of June or July. No, it was June. And it was celebrating the day that the
and look who just joined the room.
Mook.
You there, Mook?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
There we are. How are you? Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you for having us.
No, it's my pleasure. You know, it's just a night of wrestling talk and just catching up on just everything, man. It's just the world revolves around wrestling. You know that. We love it 24/7. Eat, breathe, sleep it. Well, not every day. I mean, you know, besides our current jobs, you know, as well.
Right,
you know?
right.
But Mook, I'm glad to have you on the podcast. We were just talking about how you're a wrestler and you've worked at the Ricky Morton School as trained under Ricky.
Yeah. I actually started when I was probably 15 or 16. I trained underneath Dory Funk, initially at the Funkin' Conservatory in Ocala, Florida. And then life happened, took a break, and then I lucked up and got connected with the School of Morton and got put underneath the wing of Ricky Morton.
And that's a true you know, talent. I mean, to work with a guy like that, a legend in the business who's been around, and you know, he's got a lot of talent that I've seen there and know, and you know, coming out of there, you guys really, you know, it comes a long way. You learn, you know, you're gonna be the next thing that people don't know it. You never know, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, anybody that can stay in the business as long as Ricky Morton has and been able to perform at the level that he's been able to perform and revamp himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, not many people get 2 runs, 3 runs at being able to, you know, to be able to make the dream happen and keep it exciting. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, whenever they see someone, you know, no offense, someone Ricky's age in the ring, it's kind of like an homage. It is a legendary thing. Like, you just want to, you know, you appreciate the spectacle because they're just there. But Ricky actually gets in and he works, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's special. And so, you know, in that situation, when somebody like that talks, you got to listen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm super lucky that I've been able to be in that position, that I've been able to take notes from one of the best baby faces ever. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's him and Steamboat to me, in my opinion, is Ricky Morton and Steamboat to me the 2 greatest baby faces of all time.
Oh man, Steve-O. Legend in the business, man. My God, first time.
Every match you wanted to see Ricky Steamboat fire up and
Yeah.
whoop that dude's ass in every single match. I never wanted him to lose, not one time. Not against Macho, not against none of them.
Yeah, the Macho Man. That feud was the best. Oh, that was one of the rivals that I love to listen. Well, till we die, man. I can rewatch it over and over. You know, it's just the way that they got it out there, the promos, and just the way that
in the contrast of the two characters, you know, was like night and day. That made it really, really good.
Right. But you know, and also Mook, we were talking about. You know, he's big involved in the music industry, which is awesome. We're talking space is huge into that, so that's awesome. I'm so proud of him.
Oh yeah, man. Like I've been lucky to come into a very artsy town, you know, Asheville, North Carolina, very artsy town. I'm not from here, but because of the quality of music that I make, I was lucked up and I ran into this guy, you know what I mean? And we started talking. We was like, man, we need to make some music. We need to do music. And every time I was scheduling my sessions, man, I didn't get no music done because we talked about wrestling the whole time. You know?
So, yeah, I hear you. But you know what? Music, man. You know, you put the grind in, and it's just like wrestling as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You got to put the work in for sure. You got to put the grind in, and I mean, just being like an artist and being a wrestler is almost like one and the same because it's my brand all over. You know, whether it's music, whether it's wrestling, it's still me pushing my brand as an artist or as a wrestler. So I gotta.
That's like I'm sure you noticed the one and only Leo Rush. He puts the grind into what he does. My God, that music that he produces is insane. And like, stay tuned because there's also going to be part of the Power Rangers coming up pretty soon, dude. I'm super pumped for that. He's going to be one of the next guys in that, and I don't, you know. So shout out to him for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Actually, I got one of my because you know your boy did a little bit of modeling, so I got one of my boys, Rory, who is actually the Red Ranger right now. So yeah, shout out to Rory for being the Red Ranger on Power Rangers.
No shit, man. Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. So now I'm sure he's probably going to be working with Leo.
I know, right?
You're gonna have to mention. I didn't even know that.
You got to put the call in so we can get that good booking price, man. You got to put the call in so we can bring them through Urban Combat Wrestling. Get that combo.
You already know it's in the plans. You already know I got a special place for Leo Rush. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. You would love to one-on-one. My gosh. Look at that, right? Mix it up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I would love something like that, man. It's just a lesson. So it's a lesson. The whole time I'd just be taking notes and learning, man. You know?
Yeah, man.
It is a lesson. When you look at these, and he's one of those guys that's been on the indie scene, and my God, he's made a name for himself, you know, before all that WWE stuff and the Twitter drama, and you know, you know. He put his mind and soul into like wrestling for MLW and Combat Zone Wrestling. Really, Combat Zone Wrestling really took him. Really, the black heart. The heart. The black heart that he really from his roots of the when he first came out as and just show what he has. But nowadays, man, he's just doing his thing. And how many kids he's got? And plus, he's got too many kids now. He's got like a third or fourth kid now. Come on.
He's probably making more money now than he was in the WWE. He's on, Road Rules or Real World, The Challenge or whatever.
Oh yeah, he did. I know he's done that. He's done that challenge show on MTV. My God, he's just that kind of person that could just get even in a movie. Look at that. Come on, like he's perfect. He's got it.
He's a star. He's a star. He's a star. He's got it. He's got it all the way around the board, man. Shout out to that guy for raising up to a level that they said that he didn't deserve. A lot of people was liking him because he didn't want to do a lot of the good old boy shit and carry people's bags and get up and all of that stuff that don't got nothing to do with wrestling.
No.
Shit to do with wrestling.
No, but like I said, he puts the grind in his music also, and just my God, stuff that
he got what he was supposed to have, and now he gets all of it because he's not under a WWE contract with Vince getting a piece of everything that he do outside of the business. So that was a blessing in disguise, and all that he took was a blessing in disguise because now he writing his own ticket, and now what you say about him? You know,
he's popping out more kids.
Man, he can pay for them. You know what I'm saying? And he's young. You know, you get about my age. If I start having kids again, then it's gonna be some shit. It's gonna be some trouble. Look at Mook. Mook like.
That's it. You know, I'm blessed.
Bless that man for keep putting that good energy out in the world, man. Leo Rush is a motivator, man. He's a motivation for real for young guys that look like him that might be on the smaller. Oh, sorry, that might be on the smaller side.
Fuck was that?
I was in here making beats and I accidentally hit one of my pads. I'm sorry, y'all. I got my MPC in front of me and I tapped one of the pads trying to move it. My bad. Bass came through and grabbed his ass, didn't it?
Yeah, what the hell? You can always grab the applause button.
Right? Man, he's a hell of a motivation, man, and I just pray and hope that he remain to be successful because there's some guys who smaller like my man Mook who's a fantastic worker, and sometimes they don't get the respect that they deserve because they're not prototypical, you know. But that you know, man.
But also you branch out and you get to meet new people and, you know, wrestlers and, you know, different companies and just see what's out there. You know, it's always a challenge, you know, it's always a challenge. Yeah. Like I was telling him, there's so much wrestling on the East Coast that it's insane. It's right. Am I right? Space?
Yeah, man. And it seems like in every community is little independent promotions popping up everywhere. You know, the indie scene is kind of, I think that it's kind of thriving, right? Well, it's still thriving because whenever it comes back, let me tell y'all, whenever it comes back, there's going to be so many tickets sold. People are going to be spending money like it's going out of style. Live entertainment, you know. Yeah. Urban Combat Wrestling, we try to be prepared for that transition, you know, in every way, shape, or form. You know, we want our wrestling to be tight, we want all of the concepts to be tight, we want our business to be tight first and foremost. You know, so we've been working hard, you know, and we haven't been satisfied to kind of, you know, take the little short money and keep running little shows at a loss. It just don't make sense to us right now, especially with the rules in North Carolina. It just don't make no sense.
Yeah. You know, you'll when it's ready, when the time's right, you'll get it back on the road again. You know.
Yeah, man, for sure.
You know, like I was telling Space. You know, I love to travel. So you know what, I'm going to be making new friends. I'm making new friends right now. It's we're friends till the end. That's in the business, you know, which is awesome. You know, to travel and just go East Coast. Come on down to the East Coast. I was just telling him I'm actually at the tourist spot. I'm actually between the boardwalks, Point Pleasant and Seaside, an hour ride to Atlantic City, New York the other way. Come on.
Jersey Shore. Are you muted, bro?
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, you in a good spot. You right in the middle of all that. You in a real good spot.
Hey, shoot, and not even that far. To Philly and Baltimore ain't that far either.
Exactly. Yeah. I got the travelist areas, you know. I know.
Yeah. That Eastern Seaboard life.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Don't forget the music capital, Asbury Park, the one and only.
Bruce Springsteen.
And all the
other. Who else?
Billy Idol, Billie Jean. Yeah, Billy Idol had a home there. Billy Idol.
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel, yes.
And Page, Canyon, and Bam Bam Bigelow were billed from Asbury Park, New Jersey. When they were in I forget what was the name of that faction that they had.
Oh yeah.
What was the name of that?
Canyon, and Bam Bam Bigelow and WCW.
And then I can get my laptop and get on Google real quick.
Do it. Well, gosh, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Man, that was good because they would cheat like hell in them tag team matches. Boy, they used to cheat like hell.
And did you know that also in Asbury Park that was it Bubba Ray Dudley was a bouncer at the local bar? I didn't realize that for years and years.
That's where he's from?
Yeah, no, they used to be bouncers back in the day before, when ECW was. I guess they would have the bars are right there in town, so because side jobs that they had, So shout out to them. Crazy, right?
For sure.
I mean, wrestling is history in Jersey, man. My gosh, I've had the pleasure to see some of the greats come through the doors, man. Like at a young age, I've seen Iron Mike Sharp when he had his school. He had his wrestling school before it was in Asbury Park, also. So guys would come in there to train. Actually, I was around the era when actually X-Pac as the 1, 2, 3 kid came walking through the door, and Nova of ECW would walk through the wrestle there, and his brother actually ran a promotion called Phoenix Championship Wrestling, which launched the careers of a lot of the independent wrestlers you see on TV from WWF to TNT and AEW everywhere. You know what I mean? Like there's the Samoa Joe eras to AJ eras, the Frankie Kazarian eras.
Yeah, so back in the early 2000s, late 90s.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when a lot of guys was making their bones on the indies, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. That I don't know if you said it already, but that faction was the Jersey Triad.
The Jersey Triad, I remember now.
Yeah.
Does it say how long? I want to say how long that. No, that wasn't a long feud, was it? No, they didn't last that long. I was going to say
it was Diamond Dallas Page, Chris Canyon, and Bam Bam Bigelow.
Wow. Did you know that also Bam Bam actually was a deli? He ran a deli in Newport Richey, Florida, as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Because is it? I could be wrong. What is it? American Combat Wrestling out of ACW was run there. He would actually be there as well at their shows. So right up the road, Bourbon Street, I think it was called Bourbon Street. My buddy used to go to the matches on a weekend.
Bam Bam Bigelow looked like a Florida dude.
He really did.
Yeah, well, guess what? One of his sons actually lives right around the corner from me. He's a cop now. He's a cop. I'll stay away from that.
Me too.
Yeah, one of my coworkers got married into one of his family sisters. How's that? There you go. So, yeah.
Well, that's cool though. I mean, that's cool. It's a small world, and being connected and just knowing people around like that. That's cool. It makes them real. You know what I mean? Like for me, at least,
Yeah, it's like Candido too. That's actually shout out to Chris Candido. Book coming out.
Peace, man. Candido and Bam Bigelow and Chris Canyon. Rest in peace to all three of them guys.
And balls. Yeah. Man, true talent. They all were, coming from small towns and, really just growing up watching wrestling and learning what they had to do to get into the ring. Really, you look at their career, like, who were they? Like I'll tell you a story. I always tell a story how I was 18 years old. I was working at a dollar store, and this bearded guy comes walking in with some ruffly hair and a leather jacket, and somebody said he's a wrestler. I'm like, no, is he? And he's like, I'm Balls Mahoney from ECW. No shit. So I didn't know. Like, and next door was a big and tall store. WCW wrestlers, Public Enemy would go there to get their clothes. Those guys would go over there to get their clothes.
And rest in peace to them guys too, man.
Mm-hmm. So I got a piece of paper signed by Balls. I didn't really know him, you know. I was like, holy shit! I got to meet him for the first time. Like that's and then didn't know about
cool, though.
Didn't know much about ECW, you know, really, because I really didn't watch it then, you know, really, till I done and after that studied it, you know. Never been to an ECW show like at the arena in Philly.
I've been to an ECW show back, man. It was probably 2000 or 2001. They came to Asheville when they was on TNA. And Mike Awesome was there, and Tommy Dreamer was there. Francine was there.
I mean, I did get to be a part of the one ECW's One Night Stand 2 in New York City at the Hammerstein Ballroom with the riot, with the John Cena riot. That was insane.
That is insane. That's insane. That's epic. That's history.
That's history. It is, because I was there. I was actually 6th row with my sister. 6th row behind Michael Joey Styles when Jerry Lawler slapped Joey Styles. I turned around, there's Joey getting slapped.
Wow.
Like, right up there close, and seeing Terry Funk all bloody after that one match.
Yo, that's crazy. Have you ever been able to spot yourself on any of the playbacks or anything?
Yeah, I could see myself briefly behind a Kurt Angle mask, poster. Somebody cut out. Yeah, somebody held a poster up. I saw myself. I could see myself. Like,
that's funny.
And but also, which was really cool. I started a Nacho Libre chant when the movie Jack Black was just coming out, right? And Guido was in the ring with Tajiri, and so they, with the FBI, it was just great. It was one of those moments. So that was Nacho Libre,
yeah, no, that's funny.
Mm-hmm. And that's when, that's when Human Tornado was just like getting noticed, in a movie. Like, dude's real pop, awesome dude.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Superhuman, man.
Yeah.
Cool cat wrestler, real fucking smart to the moves, I think he's still wrestling to this day. He's still doing his thing,
I mean, if you can do it as long as you can, man. That's what I say. As long as you can do it safely and perform at a high level, just talking about those, what we were talking about when I first jumped on, why not? Don't cut it short. Especially with all that knowledge, like there's so many ways that you can work. Just watching the different work rates, it doesn't always have to be high spot, this, whatever whatever it takes, but the stories still matter. The dynamics in the rings still matter. Your ability to sell and take the shots and make a match what it's supposed to be still matter. It all doesn't have to be at that it's not even about the level, it's about the pace. It all doesn't have to be at that crazy pace. It's about
to be. If you look back in the day, right, you remember all of the older heels, like through the 80s. Mm-hmm. These guys, Bockwinkel and Colonel De Beers and Baron Von Raschke and Ivan Koloff and Dick Murdoch and even the guys like Chief Strongbow in the WWF. They worked. It was slow and methodical, and they would get their shit over by kind of knowing what psychologically would trigger people to not like them. You know what I'm saying? They hit the babyface. The babyface would scream like he got killed and roll around on the ground. And he'd be like, "This is who you cheering for," and then lock in with one or two people in the crowd.
That's also like what was his name? I want to say Jeez, there's so many guys we can look back and think of it. And
Man, this dude's doing that to this day.
Rick Rude,
and
Perfect,
and Mr. Perfect. They was masters at.
Oh yeah. Mr. Perfect, yeah, for sure. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Old school cats still doing like George South do it all the time. Move. How many times we done been in amazement at how much George South and Ricky to get in before they even take their jacket off.
Man, it's an art. It's an art, and only and in my opinion, only the really, really good. Because I mean, of course, we've got really good wrestlers. Like I'm in some really good company right now. You know what I'm saying? You know, shout out to there was recently the Carolina Wrestling Awards and things like that. You know, shout out to everybody that was nominated. I'm in some very, very good company. I'm honored that I can be there. But like for me and being a fan and then also utilizing what I've been taught, I really feel like only the really, really good heels that can get heat anywhere are gonna understand that. You know what I'm saying? It's not about how much you're beating up that the baby face. It's how you're beating up the baby face, and then that baby face then also has to understand that it's your job to sell that.
Mook, let me ask you this: who are you focusing on? Who's catching your eye these days on the indie scene, like you that you would love to wrestle and just like that you're impressed with? I'm sure you're like, wow, I would like to step up. Yeah.
Geez. There's too many to name just because, like I said, even in my area, there's just so many up and coming amazing people. If I had to name just two people off the bat that I can reach out and touch right now, it would be most likely Timmy Lou Retton and Ethan Case. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think those two people.
You know what? That guy, Timmy Lou, is awesome. My gosh, he's transferred. Have you seen it? His transformation. He looks so much better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, shout out to Timmy Lou. You know what I'm saying? He been messing with us for a good little minute. I've been learning from him. I've gone up to train with him a couple of times. You know what I mean? And so just with his know-how and what I get from him in the learning environment, and I'm one of those guys who picks up by doing. I've been brought to the next level by being put in matches with people who are far beyond. Shout out to Draco, School of Morton. Shout out to Rick Matrix. Shout out to Shane Andrews. Shout out to you know what I mean, like all these amazing people who I've had the opportunity to be inside the ring with that I have learned from actually being in there with them. You know what I mean? And so the same thing, being with Timmy Lou, like I know. Once I get into a match, I know what to do. I know what to do. You know what I mean? I'm greatly trained. Not being cocky about it. It's just it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I know I can learn some more, and I'm ready to do that. And so, Timmy Lou Retton, Ethan Case. I think that if going beyond that, I mean, like we've mentioned already, like Leo Rush. I mean, ACH. ACH, one of the gods in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Or Leon Lee Mayanori.
Yeah. I mean,
and AJ Gray, a Tankman. My gosh,
Don't Die Miles. Like, bro, there's so many people that are coming. Even Chikadora.
Christian Blake. Christian Blake.
Yeah. Hot. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's no shortage of great wrestlers right now. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's doing such a great job. I mean, it's about that placement and it's about the drive. You know what I mean? So congratulations to everybody. I mean, that's where I'm kind of like aiming for now. Like I'm entering into a proving phase. You know what I mean? Like for a while I've been sitting back just because, like I said, like I know I've got good training. You know what I'm saying? And for a while I didn't really have to think about my next booking, but COVID changed that for everybody. You know what I mean? So now it's in the stage of a lot of people who haven't heard of Mook the BTSG or who haven't heard of Urban Combat Wrestling. It's time for people to wake up and know that there's
Because we were just talking, me and Space were talking about, like we're saying Lee Mayanori and Blake Christian and all those guys, game changer wrestling. We were just talking about all the talent they have is really, it's worldwide. It's like everybody's worldwide. Everybody talent is phenomenal. Like, everybody to anybody comes into that federation, steps into the, comes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And has an opportunity, And
I'm trying to come through and show people that just because you're small don't mean that you always jumping off the top rope. Like I'm kicking faces from bell ring to bell ring, if you understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it.
Yeah. You want to get in there and show who you are. And like the Iron Man matches, the 20-minute, the 30-minute Iron matches, and
let's get it.
Get that title. Get the gold around your waist, and show that's what it's all about. Show who you are.
That's it. Have we talked about UCW yet, man? What they know?
Barely, man. We just barely touched. So who's waiting on you to get on now, man?
Yeah, break it out. We've been talking about the Outlaws. The Outlaws,
the White Claw Outlaws, man. Haters drinking haterade every day. AC Reddick, if that's what his real name is today. Chad Bartlett, hat guy, whatever. But White Claw Outlaws, I mean, what can't we say about them that hasn't already been said, right?
Yeah. Complete assholes, but
oh,
they do what we say most of the time. So that's okay. But
because regardless of all that shit that they talk, they cash every single one of those checks.
Yes, they do.
For another can.
Yes, they do. But and they show up on time. They come in their gear and they set up their merch table and they make the matches look good. They do their job.
Everybody says, just make yourself look good and do the right. That's what everybody does.
Truth be told, on a wrestling level, great guys to have in your locker room, great guys to have across from you in the ring, because ultimately they know what they're bringing to the table. Therefore, they know what to do. They know what they're capable of. They understand the workings of who they are and what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean? And they can talk all the shit they want to talk about me. It ain't never been no skin off of my back. You know what I'm saying? But real recognize real, and I'll give them that. But like Spaceman said, and we'll reiterate, complete assholes. Like that's it.
Assholes.
Complete assholes.
But you're all friends by day, so it's all.
Yeah.
One asshole to another asshole. Hey. But let me ask you this, Mook. Growing up, as we were talking about wrestling, like what got you into wrestling, man? Like as a kid, like growing up watching, who was like your eye catchers? We were talking about the Steamboats and the Rudes.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm a bit younger than my big homie up there. But I was actually introduced to wrestling pretty early with my grandfather.
Man, shout out Wardell, man.
Wardell, South French Broad, you know what I'm saying? Like legend, man, still. Cool. Yeah.
Cool guy.
I appreciate it, man. I remember sitting and watching it with him, Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair and just the old school Sting. But see, like I didn't really get into it personally myself probably until right around the time right before the Monday Night Wars kind of started, because I actually started with WCW. You know what I'm saying? Like that was
you caught your eye. Yeah, you watched that. The trigger.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye. I think the first thing that I saw, I think I was flashing through, and I want to say like it was the Harlem Heat that caught my attention at first. It was like these black dudes coming through, and I was like, "Who are these guys?" Yeah. And I at that age, I was in Taekwondo. I did Taekwondo for a long time growing up, and I saw Booker T throw what we would call a crescent kick at that time, but they call it the Booker T side kick or whatever. And I was like, yo, that's a real move that he's doing. And from that point on, I was, I finished watching the show. I got into the fanfare of it, and so like immediately I was connecting obviously with Booker T, and Stevie Ray. Ernest the Cat Miller was one of my favorite people. And I learned that as serious as wrestling is, it has to have that entertainment factor. It has to have that laugh, that natural, like, bro, he really up there thinking that he's talking about kicking somebody's behind, but don't nobody think that he really gonna do it, even though Ernest Miller is a real martial artist. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. So seeing all of that kind of drew me in like very deeply. And then just getting more into it as more programs were being released, as WWE and F was going on. I connected with RVD and Tajiri, Booker T. I was always a fan of the Scarecrow Sting. And then honestly, Buff Bagwell was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up, man. Like, and I don't hear people. You know how like you can talk about something real quick. Like, I haven't said that in a while. Like, but I used to love me some Buff Bagwell.
You don't really hear that. You don't even hear that. You notice you don't even hear that name as much anymore. You really don't.
But see, I think Buff Bagwell overshadowed how great Marcus Alexander Bagwell was. When he was Alexander Bagwell and he was in the tag team with Too Cold Scorpio, and then him and Scotty Reed.
Oh my God! Together. Shout out to him. Oh my God!
Y'all remember how Marcus Alexander Bagwell was?
See, I got it when he was Buff, bro.
When he was Marcus Alexander Bagwell, when he was a white meat babyface.
Okay.
He had a chest, and he was. They had the tag team, him and Too Cold Scorpio. I think they might have even been challenging for the belt. I think it was somebody that used to beat them up all the time. Midnight Express used to cheat or something. It was somebody that was whooping their ass all the time. But yeah, man, Marcus Alexander Bagwell was over like a motherfucker. But Buff was, I don't know. It didn't. He didn't have the same appeal when he did his heel turn.
Now, as we were saying, Scorpio, there was a guy who really, flash funk to then he just like really,
he was way ahead of his time. I think, in my opinion, he was way ahead of his time. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing stuff today that Too Cold Scorpio was doing a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, the style was different. That's how he moves today.
He always felt authentic. Always felt authentic.
But like the Booker T and just as you're saying, Booker T really came a long way with his career, and look where he's now. He's doing podcasts. My God,
podcast is a legend, man. Yeah,
I should try to hit it. Yeah, oh no, he probably charges. Never mind.
Booker T. Booker T came a long way, man. Sometimes I'll be mad at Booker though. Sometimes
I get it. And for me, it's still the Booker that drew me in, the Booker that I connect with being a brown guy with dreadlocks in the business. You know what I'm saying? And then
I'll tell you a good Indian. Hold on. I'll tell you a very good Indian match that I got to see, and it's from Jersey All Pro Wrestling. Booker T versus Jay Lethal. Watch that match. It was a respect match. Really, catch it. Go on YouTube, find it, or order the DVDs. Look, just do some research. You're like, holy shit! It was like an awesome match.
I can imagine.
Student versus teacher, like really, like it was a good, of course, Lethal, how he was, in his career before Ring of Honor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's another one. But yeah, I mean, no, I'm saying that's another one. Jay Lethal, we haven't mentioned him, yet on the conversation, but he's just another great. You know what I'm saying? Just another great person that's been inspiring. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to be cliche, but coming from an environment to where I was the only brown person, wrestling, it means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, again, connecting with, you know, Booker T and being the brown person with the dreadlocks and all the other things, and having a person, even though it may have been or may have not been storyline, having a person say "you people" kind of situation, like that shit is real to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
But that happens in wrestling. You know what I'm saying? The wrestling is not removed from racism. It's not at all. We've had our experiences, but that's neither here nor there. But I got a good question for both of y'all. Which Booker T? Flat top Booker T or dreadlock Booker T?
Oh gosh, good question. That's a good one.
Are you talking about GI Bro Booker T or
flat top Booker T with the small trunks?
With the small trunk, yeah, okay.
And the nose, the sinus go the television show. That flat top Booker T.
All right, we'll take that one. All right.
Yo,
that's a trip down memory. That's like a trip down memory lane, right?
That's when I met him. I met him with the flat top in the joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the book, bro. With the Harlem Hangover.
I like the Harlem Heat Booker T. I don't like the babyface TV champion Booker T. I like the Harlem Heat. We gonna get you.
My favorite Booker T though. I might get heat for this. I don't know. My favorite Booker T was when he was tagged with Goldust. That was one of my favorite.
King Booker. I was about to say no. King Booker flush.
No, flush. No, I mean it's funny because you know what I mean. Space like when you hear your boy from the hood do like a British accent and it's bad. Like it's funny to me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
let me tell you something. I got to witness. You know, I was a part of. 2000 whatever it was, Christmas time. I was on that when Sunday Night Heat was around, right? When Sunday Night Heat was in New York City for that restaurant, WWF restaurant.
Yeah,
they had the guest was I guess Taz was there and Michael Cole, and they were showing, you know, it was an actually worldwide episode of the Sunday Night Heat, and
I miss Sunday Night Heat.
And they go to the clip in the supermarket.
Oh, with Stone Cold and Booker T. Yes.
And,
that was crazy.
So I was there for like at a moment. I didn't realize that was going on. Like I'm here at a restaurant worldwide, you know. Okay, I'm going on live. Let me call my mom. Hey mom, can you videotape this? I'm gonna be on TV tonight. Like really? And I got on DVD. Now I got a of course, digitally version. But my God, but to be a part of that, like to hear, like the crowd from Rick. It was actually Charlotte, North Carolina. I think the angle was when Taz was in the ring with Christian and Edge, or Edge and Christian, and then Christian was also on a guest at the show as well. You know, at the restaurant. Like how crazy. So is it the Taz angle with Christian, you know, but crazy.
It's just right over there. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. But yeah, no, I definitely, I would definitely choose the flat top Booker T over dreadlock Booker T if I had to choose. Although, I mean, I like every Booker T with the exception of King Booker. That's just never been my favorite version of Booker T. I don't, you know, I didn't.
That got annoying. That got annoying. Sorry.
Yeah.
To hear. It really did.
Yeah, that wasn't good for me. For me, love you, Booker, though, but that wasn't good. But yeah, but you know, but then when it comes to the things that Spaceman, you know, I don't know if you want to touch back on it, but some of the things that Spaceman was talking about, I mean, like when it comes to the background, the dark, you know, portions of wrestling, man, like it's hard sometimes to separate, you know, your fan favorite, the person who brought you in, and then when you hear that the speculation or the allegedness of the situation, man, it's heart-wrenching. You know what I'm saying? You just like, come on, man. Like,
I tell you, man, in wrestling, more than any other industry, you want to kind of lower your expectations, you know, when it comes to dealing with these humans that we done set up on these pedestals as superstars. Because these guys are human beings, man. And this is a hard business. where sometimes you might not have had the chance to develop all of your personality, you know, and you might have some quirks that might be, you know, hard to deal with some people. But, you know, if you coming into a situation like for me, I'm coming into the wrestling business and I'm understanding that it's people that already is populated that I'm not going to be changing anything that's going on with them. I can determine how I'm going to do business and what I'm going to spend my money on and put my energy behind. But man, sometimes, man, when you're dealing with these folks, they got their own opinions and hearts and the way that we feel about them and the way that the moments that we shared with them while they was at work, you know, it's like somebody going to Burger King and feel like they got a relationship with the dude that cooked this waffle because it was good. You know,
Right.
So I put this thing in the proper perspective, man. These are folks that are at a job and it's their job to suspend our disbelief for a little while. You know what I'm saying? While we are partaking of this professional wrestling, it's their job to make us sink into it and believe it, but that don't give us, the fans, like the right to be able to, you know, he's just somebody with a job and he got his own opinions. You know what I'm saying? And I was hard on Booker T, because I felt like he was quick to, when it's a controversial situation dealing with a black talent, that he is quick to not take the black talent side.
Yeah.
Whatever reason.
And that's been pointed out a lot of times. And sometimes whenever people say the same thing multiple times, sometimes you got to look at it.
I'm sure, like, you know, that him and, you know, Slick always had a problem with, you know, I'm sure there was always something with him, you know, Dr. Slick, you know, the manager Slick, you know, look at that, you know, I'm sure he had a lot of problems as well, you know.
Well, I mean, yeah. the way I look at it is that everybody has a right and an obligation to deal with things in their own way. You know what I'm saying? So Booker T gonna deal with it in his way. I might not agree with it, but you know, my opinion on Booker T's situation is not gonna pay his mortgage. It ain't gonna do a damn thing for him. It ain't gonna pay my mortgage. It's just my opinion. But I can feel how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And I respect man. I respect what the man has done. I respect what the man continues to do. But I know that a lot of times we'll do things out of thinking that we're gonna miss out on something in the future. And I'm thinking that's what we see with a lot of these cats. They know which side the bread, but which side the bread is buttered on, and it's like, okay, I'm going to reserve my personal opinion and go ahead and side with the matter in this way. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. I choose not to do that, but everybody got their freedom of choice to do whatever they want to do. And that was my issue with the brother. And that was the only issue I had with him. You know?
Do you know who I always come to mind to think also was really just like really underrated and he could have really came a long way? Bad News Brown.
Oh yeah.
Bad News Brown was legit, like a
like
champion. Saying like,
hey, can I cut in just real quick?
You could cut in anytime.
Just real quick. Jeff Miller, bro. What's cracking? Yo, I see him commenting. I see him commenting over there, man. He said we forgetting to name one of the best wrestlers. He want to book the match. Jeff don't want the smoke, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see, you've been listening to too much of that death metal. It make you suicidal. You know what I'm saying? If he run up on you, he already know. Tell him to ask Big Rick Matrix what happened. You know what I'm saying? When he got knocked out in Tennessee.
Ask him what happened. Hey, you know, he don't even have to ask Rick Matrix. Jeff Miller only has to ask his shoulder. That's all he got to do. His shoulder and I met one time, and he never wanted to talk to me no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you don't want this smoke. But yeah, I mean, Jeff Miller, great guy. Another one of the School of Morton guys that I have a lot of respect for. That's for sure. A lot of those School of Morton guys I have a lot of respect for. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Jeff. When the time is right, Jeff, you'll get your opportunity to get kicked in the face. Don't rush it. Just wait.
Yeah, don't rush it. Just wait, man.
Yeah, don't keep on knocking until you can't come in, right?
You only got so many. Save that concussion for a better time.
Yeah. Say that for later, cuz I think one. What did we talk about the dream match? I mean, I don't know, bro. Like I said earlier, there's so many of those, but there's too many of those. I can't even.
Yeah, I know.
I can't even name.
I know.
Yeah.
Wait till like 2020, 20,000 million years from now, right?
Right. Right.
But let's get back to talking about urban wrestling. Come on,
Urban Combat Wrestling, UCW.
Man, me and Mook came up, man, with Urban Combat Wrestling, riding the roads, man, back and forth on I-26, man, going back and forth to down to East Tennessee. And first it was gonna be like I was just like, man, I had this idea kind of early in the morning, because in promoting shows and all of that I've been doing for a while, I would do little variety shows. So it would be, a DJ, a couple of rappers, a singer-songwriter, a punk band, and all of these
freestyle.
Yeah. So all of these different crowds would kind of mingle, and everybody would have a good time, and we made some money. So I was like, dang, it just kind of the idea stuck with me we could blend rap music and professional wrestling, and I also wanted to have an outlet for up and coming wrestlers, especially black guys, to have a chance to learn, also be able to have a chance to get over and to have somebody like thinking about the way that we use them, because there was one instance that a few instances that kind of let me see that was needed. Going around a lot of small towns in the South and doing indie wrestling, you're going to run across a lot of intolerant people, to say the least. And me and Mook done seen some things in that lane, and Mook has experienced some things that some folks thought was funny. There was some instances of promoters.
Yeah, we won't say anything. I know how you go. Yep, like drama. Yep, I know.
Yeah, drama.
I know the scenes of wrestling. I know the ins and outs. I see that.
That was just instances of people asking folks to do things that, in different areas it wouldn't have got over. It wouldn't have worked. But it only worked because the geographical area that we was in, and I understand doing what you got to do as far as like listening to the promoter. I'm a big proponent of that. But you have to have somebody who's willing to care for your image and care for your well-being and your state of mind as well as you do. I think that a lot of times in wrestling, we're top heavy. In the guys on the bottom don't really get much of a say-so with what happened to their bodies, and they going out there really putting it on the line. Like one that I know is nursing several injuries that if they went to the doctor and got all their shit checked out, they're gonna be in debt because they got some repairs to make to their body. And to do that without really being able to express yourself, I think is a travesty of justice. And I think that what me and Mook wanted to do was to be able to have fully fleshed out characters when it comes to black folks. So let's just say it plain. For a long time, black folks they've never been booked properly. The stories have never been told properly because it's been told by people who don't understand the fabric of the community. We want to be able to take people on a journey of we want our characters to grow up. We want our characters to learn the errors of their ways. We want to this is a more wrestling is a morality tale. What good is the morality tale if nobody ever learns the lesson?
Right.
guy who's still doing the same unsuccessful shit. It's like a live action Wile E. Coyote. You know, we have some of these storylines that the characters never really get to develop. You know, so especially for black folks in professional wrestling. So we're gonna see some people turn from we're gonna tell some compelling stories because we understand that professional wrestling is really the art of storytelling in a physical form. It's more physical theater. I don't give a damn what the people say who try to bring up this sports analogy about professional wrestling. Okay, way back in the day when they decided to work the matches, you know what I'm saying, after Hackenschmidt and all of the dude from Rupture and all of them, Batislaw, all of the Stanislaw, whatever his name was. Ever since then, man, that shit done been kind of flawed. You know what I'm saying? But the people was trying to trick the people back then that they were coming to see a legitimate fight. That was the whole game. That's why you had a lot of family-oriented wrestling business, because you can't trust the guy down the street, but you can trust your cousin, your son, you know, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, all of that with the secret. But, you know, that ain't the case no more. And everybody, I kind of look side-eye at the people who wanted to go back to that. Like, I know that you would sell me a car that you know the transmission about to go out, and you'll put some liquid in there where it'll drive a few thousand miles and fuck up on me after you know what I'm saying? Like, every time I hear somebody say that carny shit, I know that I don't need to do business with them because they're a fucking con man.
That happens. You know that these days and ages still happens. No, you got a wrestler who will work for you, and you just you know the ins and outs. It's you know to be.
I'll tell you what game you win, whether it's wrestling or music or dope or podcast game, you should be able to train your nose to smell a rat.
Yeah,
your nose to smell a rat. Train your heart and your gut to tell you the truth and follow that shit. You know what I'm saying? Even when it make you look crazy.
Yeah.
Man, because in every game, you got people who are doing the right thing and people who are doing the wrong thing. And on your way up, because you're on the bottom, so you're going to come through all the bullshit. So when you first starting out and you first starting to do shit, man, you're going to run into all of them people. In Urban Combat Wrestling, we are definitely some veterans of that part. But, man, we just have decided to kind of shut down the operations as far as like trying to put a show together on the fly, you know what I'm saying, and people at danger or just do something we're not gonna be able to make money. It doesn't make any sense, man. It costs us too much to put a show on to do it for free. We done one. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that was a good thing, and it was a great experience, but that's not something that we look to do on a regular basis. So we just decided
we're still a company, we're still a business, we still have to be viable. We're LLC, you know what I'm saying? Like we're handling business the right way. So we decided that if we weren't going to be able to do shows to where people could assemble safely, because in our community, you know, there are some other communities now that are still populating. You know what I'm saying? And congrats to them. You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? I want to wrestle just like a lot of those other people. I've accepted bookings, but I keep my mask on and all the other good stuff, you know. But as a business, I don't want one of my patrons, one of my regulars, as far as clients, customers, or anything like that, to be affected and bring that to anyone in their family or one of the boys, you know what I mean? Because that affects, you know, that affects the business and as a whole. And I'm not talking about the UCW business. I'm talking about the wrestling business. You know what I mean? I guess.
And also we want to take. I feel like my job as a promoter is to take care of the wrestlers and the fans, which I feel like they under my care, because I'm in control of that venue that night. So you coming in my house, and I want you to be safe. I want you to have a good time, and I want you to be taken care of, like as far as your needs going to be met during the time. And we can't do that during COVID. We tried a couple of things, and we was able to have some precautions in place, but we really got lucky. You know what I'm saying? We really got fucking lucky that didn't nobody get sick because the nature of this virus. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't have plexiglass. We didn't have everybody in plexiglass boxes. We had to figure it out with social distance. But you know, it's hard to control those things. And you know, and I don't know if that was nobody got sick, so thank God. But I don't know if that was the best decision. So we just decided to not deal with it until it was safe.
Yeah, until we can do it safely.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we are restructuring the way that we do business. We are looking at different ways that we can protect our fans, protect ourselves, and protect the boys. Looking at different ways where we can make sure that everybody's going to be healthy no matter what happens. You know, making sure that we're just trying to find our way to be a company on the indies that is prepared, ready, and structured to take the next step to making more dreams come true and expanding more and being able to tell our story in a more full way. So right now, man, we working furiously behind the scenes to get all of this stuff together and to get things twerking. Don't think we dead because we quiet.
Yeah.
But we gonna flood y'all with some content too, man. We working
for sure. And I mean, we've changed. And I feel like I've been a little bit laid back on my opinion about this in the past, but I feel like we've changed the face of wrestling once in an area. You know what I'm saying? We were completely instrumental in changing the face of wrestling in East Tennessee. I don't care what anybody says. Spaceman and Mook the BTSG were instrumental in doing that. There were people who were not being booked at all in Eastern Tennessee until we got there. And when we got there and after we started making noise was when they got their call. So we did it once and we about to do it again. And that's
you know what? And you know what? And one of the guys that we know is really, you know, part of you guys as well, Mr. David Ronaldo.
Man, hey man, we was gonna get down to the shout out part.
That guy is the grind of wrestling.
Let me tell you something about David Rolano, man. Man, David Rolano got his eyes on the prize, man, and we've been talking back and forth with David Rolano and having ventures and doing things together with David Rolano for quite a minute. You know what I'm saying? And we are happy to be continuing on dealing with David. You know what I'm saying? We gonna figure out a way to where we can one day all be kind of moving around in the lap of luxury, man, off of this art that we share with people, man. And people gonna have, because we're gonna pack value into every event. An Urban Combat Wrestling event is not just a show. We don't do shows, man. We do events that add value to people's lives. Like the experience of an Urban Combat Wrestling show is valuable in and of itself. Like you walk away with a good feeling and you are able to kind of, the way that we do wrestling is we invite you, the fan, to kind of let off some steam. And cathartically, you can leave out of the show and feel like, whoo, man, I'm ready to go to Waffle House and go to bed, man, because that's a hell of an experience, you know. And we've been able to recreate that experience time and time again at Urban Combat Wrestling events. And
that's for and to piggyback what Spaceman is saying, that's for people on both sides of the curtain. You know what I'm saying? Like we have folks that have come and said that this is the best wrestling show that they've ever been to in their life. We've had folks to come to say that this is the first wrestling show that they've ever been to in their life, and that they never thought that it was going to be something like that. But then on the other side of the curtain, just like we say, you know, we take care of our boys. We're inviting you into our house. Like, the boys will let us know this is the most fun show that I've ever had you know, the opportunity to be a part of. They appreciate the way that we take care of them and how we look out for them. You know what I'm saying? It's all encompassing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just putting this over a little bit.
Yeah, man. And shout out again to David Rolano, man.
Yeah, shout out to David Rolano.
Shout out boot and heels, baby. Boot and heels.
Boot and heel making a lot of noise, man, and
everywhere.
And sometimes, man, if you're offended by how somebody moving, maybe you need to get your grind up. So that's to all the soft people out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there needs to be a little bit more appreciation for the people who do grind like that a little bit. There's so much like trying to protect your own ego and trying to make sure that you seen as being like the end all be all in your area, that a lot of people are missing out on opportunities to collaborate and grow. You know what I'm saying? So much of the growth comes from collaboration, comes from somebody saying like, hey, what you're doing in this aspect is great. I can bring what I do and elevate a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to be good at every single little thing. So, but a lot of people are missing out on opportunities, but you know, their losses are blessing. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to David Rolano. Shout out to Nick. You know what I'm saying? So,
that guy, Nick, what a character he is. I love him. He's great. I have had him on a podcast a long time, quite a while, way back. But great guy, great.
Yeah, man. Shout out to
He's an inspiration to wrestling. He's got that itch that you can tell. He's just the character that loves what he's doing.
Nick is it, man. Shout out to Zuka King.
Yeah, shout out to Zuka.
Just one up and coming North Carolina. I know you can't. I can say shout out to Zuka. You don't got to. Hey man, and also man, just be on the lookout for content from Urban Combat Wrestling. It's gonna be dropping real soon, man. We got a lot of stuff in store for folk and some big announcements in the future, but we gonna keep them super duper quiet. You know what I'm saying? Silence is the first key. But I want to give some shout outs, man, to some people who've been instrumental in what we are doing, man. I want to give a shout out to to all of the boys who came and put their bodies on the line for us, from the Gymnasties to Chris Henry to
Chance Riser
and the Cross Brothers and Isaiah Bronson and man, Alex JC Adams and
Axton Ray,
all the guys who came out, man. You know, a lot of guys who came out wrestling for us, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to all of the venues who done had us in their spot. You know what I'm saying? It's rough time for venues right now. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Moth Light. Rest in peace to the Moth Light. You know what I'm saying? They right now they are living on as a in another way. But shout out to them. Shout out to the Getaway down right there on the river, man. It used to be called Old Shakey's, man. Shout out to Chance. Shout out to Cars and Bars, man. You know, and shout out Snoop. And shout out
to Snoop for coming on TV again on AEW, right?
Not that Snoop, different Snoop.
Not that different Snoop.
Oh, right.
Different Snoop. Man, shout out to Hillcrest Apartments. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Atkinson up there. You know, shout out to everybody who been instrumental, man. Chad Bartlett and AC Reddit with their dumbasses, and Nathan Hamilton and Professor
Big Nate, Professor T, Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor, Ricky T.
I'm trying to give a shout out to all of my brothers and my sisters at the School of Morton. Y'all know who the real ones are. That you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my real ones that still know what's cracking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shout out to everybody and what
shout out to them. And you know what? Don't forget to mention too the show that's on YouTube every time. Great content coming out of that.
205 Live. I'm glad that they're able to keep the show going. Congratulations for them being able to keep the show going.
For them to continue to be able to do that, man. And also, man, shout out to all of the fans who keep coming through and keep supporting us. and are continuing to stay rabid about this urban. We're gonna bring y'all some violence soon. I promise you, man. I promise you. And shout out to the folks that's helping us behind the scenes that will remain unnamed because we ain't there yet. But best believe we got something cooking for everybody, man. And just thank you, Shane Chant.
Shout out to the Deathmatch Russell podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out.
I got a couple more shout outs though, man. Shane Chess. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You guys, I'd love to have you come back. You know that you're welcome to come back anytime. My doors are open. My studio doors with the lights are open. Okay, the lights are still on, right?
Say lights.
$5 lights are on for the $5 below. Come on, can't go wrong, right?
Hey, that's a good deal though. Hey, $5 below ain't never hurt nobody.
I think it even flashes too. Wait, does it? Yes.
Hey, Spaceman, you see that, Ray?
Yeah.
$5 and $5 below, you can't go wrong. Oh man, cheap gimmicks, right? Cheap
right,
stuff.
man. Hey,
Keep it high.
Cheap pop, still pop, man.
Cheap pop, still pop. That's right.
But
right.
guys, where can everybody find you all on any kind of social media? Oh, there it is, right there. I think I got it all.
Yeah. Well, you got it all.
Yeah, I think right there.
We got a good man. Twitter, okay. Urban Combat Wrestling is not available because somebody got it
on Twitter. Yeah.
Oh, we delete that out.
But IG, Facebook, YouTube, no, all that, all that's good. Yeah. But whoever is on that Twitter handle, come up off of it.
Yeah, man, because we at combat_urban and
on Twitter.
That ain't about to trend on nothing, man.
That ain't nothing. So, we can't do nothing with that.
Please, sir. I appreciate it. If I can buy that from you, I would love to have it. Thank you.
Yeah. I hate when people do that, and I'm blocked out of my account for Twitch. I can't even get on it. I got to create a new one.
Oh, sure.
Oh, man. But y'all make sure y'all tap in, man. All of the information is right there on the screen. Y'all tap in with us, and we will be around, bro. It's right there. We'll be around. We ain't going nowhere. Straight up. They want to kill me to stop this shit from going, and I ain't dying because I'm eating healthy. I'm exercising, all that shit. So, hey, I'm praying, meditating. We ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere.
Music and wrestling, man. It's the lifestyle. It's a lifestyle we live by.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Actually, wait a minute. Wrestling and music. Excuse me. There we go. Let's reverse it. Because
wrestling first.
Yes. Yes. Before the music.
Man, I want to give a shout out to the Deathmatch Russell podcast for having us on. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Thank you very much, man, for letting us come on and talk about our company. And
I'm going to mention you to another couple of podcasters. Actually, they're going to come on my podcast on Thursday night. Mark Out Media.
I forgot some shout outs. C3W, my homeboy, Rick.
Yes, C3W. Yep.
My brothers.
Those are brothers. Shout out to C3W, Casino Hayes,
LeBron,
and
Firestone.
Yep.
Peace, bro. All right, man. I know he ready to get out of here. He look like he want a meatball sandwich. You about to go get you a meatball sub? Or what kind
no, actually, hell no. I had some nice salmon for dinner.
Salmon.
Nice. I'm about to have me some shrimp tempura with some fried rice. Homemade. I'm about to kill it. Yeah. I got me a new air fryer. So I'm looking. So hey, check me out. You know what this is? You know what I'm doing?
What?
I'm looking down on everybody who don't got an air fryer. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm looking down on all you peons who don't have air fryers right now. That's what I'm doing. That's what this is.
I'm about to use my air fryer, man. I'm about to grill up some veggies.
Yeah, bro. Well, man, y'all have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Deathmatch Russell podcast. Thank you, man, for having us. It's always good. It's out to my homie. Hey, let me give I got one last shout out because I know I shouted out the SOM guys. Shout out to my business partner, Spaceman Jones.
Oh, yes.
Shout out to my business partner right there, bro.
That made me feel
Wait
good.
a minute, Mook. Actually, Spaceman, you better do one to him, man. Oh,
Hey man, shout out to, in my opinion, the most slept on wrestler and rapper probably in the whole United States. And dude who keep me from doing stupid shit all the time.
Yeah, I do that. I do that. Yeah. Bro, I appreciate it. It's all love, bro. Well, you know how we do. We are on a new level. No toxic masculinity, none of that shit. I love you, bro. That's what it is.
Man.
All right, guys. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Peace,
Yes,
man.
sir. Yeah.
Peace, love, and wrestling, as they always say.
That's it. Woo.
All right, you're out too. All right, what do I got? Okay, guys, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the podcast tonight. Thank you. I'm gonna do shout outs. Now you guys have got me on a shout out roll. Thank you guys. Now you got me jinxed on the shout outs. Shout out to these two guys. Shout out to Spaceman Jones of Urban Combat Wrestling and his partner and wrestler, rapper, also or music, also wrestling, rapper, everything mixed together with wrestling. I want to say shout out to Mook. Thank you guys for coming on the podcast. And Mooks, keep your eyes on your future, because you know what? He's one of those guys that's going to make a name for himself in the business of wrestling. And you know what? Lights, camera, action. It's go time. So fans, check him when Urban Wrestling comes back, and it's going to be better than ever. You can check them all out on the social media. Spaceman Jones, check out Urban Wrestling, and the other one as well, Mook, on Urban Wrestling, and check out some tracks that are going to be dropping soon, promos, this and that, the works, and just good luck on your endeavors with wrestling. Endeavors. Why do I say endeavors? I don't know, but yeah, endeavors. Whatever. Shout out to them. I mean, what am I rambling about? These guys got something coming, and shout out to the one and only David Ronaldo, the one and only from Boot and Heel. For all your apparel, I'll plug that in a minute. And Deathmatch Russell podcast. What's going on this weekend? Well, I gotta look at my calendar here, because I have coming up on some podcasts here with my busy schedule of podcasts for 2021. As I said, it's going to grow and grow with lots of guests that you're more than welcome to listen to, and they'll be coming on the show soon, and more to become, and come again on the Deathmatch Russell podcast. But wrestling fans, I want to say stay tuned. Thursday night, January 14th at 8 p.m. Thursday night, January 14th at 8 p.m. with David Edge, host and co-host, Brother Victor of Mark Out Media 18 podcast, as we're going to be talking with them and see what they're about, and talk wrestling and much, much more. Shout out to them as well, because they're a sponsor, along with myself, of Game Changer Wrestling Fight Forever. That will be taking place on the Game Changer YouTube page, January 29th at 8 p.m. and on January 30th at 8 p.m. it's going to end. It's going to be a fundraiser, 24-hour marathon of wrestling, live pro wrestling from the GCW Performance Center, streaming live and free on Game Changer Wrestling YouTube channel, Game Changer Wrestling. Type that in the search bar on YouTube. Fundraiser for independent wrestlers. There's going to be donations added as well. It's going to be a 24-hour wrestle show. So fans, get ready and check that out. Much, much more. What else do you got going on, David? I don't know, man. I got to check my podcast. But actually, fans, I want to say check out my podcast on oh man, I got so much coming up. My brain is like on overdrive. I'm gonna yes, fans, check it out on next Thursday night. Not this Thursday, the next Thursday night. I'm gonna have get professional wrestler Relentless Rock Richards is gonna be on the podcast. Fans, we're gonna see what he talk to him and see what he's been up to wrestling wise and see where he's gonna be next. You never know where he'll be. And we're gonna talk wrestling as always. But also, wait a minute. Did I just book that for the next? No, actually, what is it? Wait a minute, I'm confused. Hang on, fans. Hang on. Oh, did I just do a booking that I didn't want to book? Or is it going to be the following booking for the next following week? Fans, actually, look at my calendar here because I'm going to actually have to tell him we're going to switch the days because I got something going on. I have Thursday night with actually a podcast going on already. So, yeah. Stay tuned for that. I'll talk to him. Stay tuned, fans. You'll be seeing him on my podcast. But what do I got coming up after that? Fans. I'm looking on my schedule just now. I just got a message on my podcast. And I'm looking at my calendar and it's blinking and it says Everett Lee, the host of the Everett Lee Show of the Podcast City Network, is making his return to the Deathmatch Russell podcast. Alert, Everett Lee. Stay tuned for that, fans. On Thursday night, January 28th at 8 p.m. As we always talk about wrestling, we talk about wrestling and much, much more. Fans, have a good night, and thank you for listening to the Deathmatch Russell podcast. Wait a minute. Can't say good night before I say all my plugs. Shout out to well, I'm not doing shout out to myself. Hey, Deathmatch Russell. All my plugs. Actually, check out Boot and Heel for all your wrestling apparel and more merchandise. You can pick up some nice T-shirts from all the professional wrestlers, all your independent wrestlers, as well as check out Deathmatch Russell podcast as well. Pick up a shirt, support us, and wear a hoodie, a jacket. They got everything on masks to you name it, and more. And more stuff to come by Deathmatch Russell podcast. You never know what I'll put up on the website next or my own design. You never know. Because I'm always thinking in my head, thinking of new ways to promote wrestling of the Deathmatch Russell podcast. Shout out to Boot and Heel Podcast City Network. Podcast City Network for all your listening needs for podcasts such as Deathmatch Russell podcast, such as the Everett Lee Show, Final Score, sports podcast with your host Craig and Chris Carnage. Check that show out, fans. It's one of the top rated sports podcasts on the planet today. It's moving. It's up there in the sports world, doing good things and more things to come. Also, check out the Nerdy Connection as well on there. There's so much podcasts on the platform. Go on and check out Podcast City Network. We have all kinds of podcasts from your comedy to your hip hop to your movies, you name it, we got it. And that's a wrap, folks. Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Deathmatch Russell podcast. Until next time. Good night. We talk wrestling again.
Find more Deathmatch Russell podcasts on the following social media: deathmatchrussell.com, follow on Twitter at DavidNJ32, and on Facebook, facebook.com/DJDaveNJ32. Find me on Podcast City Network at podcastcity.net, facebook.com/Podcast City Network. Hit the like button and share, and on Twitter at Podcast City Net. You can hear Deathmatch Russell podcast on Stitcher Radio and on iTunes.
Hey, wrestling fans, check out bootandheel.com for all your independent wrestlers, apparel, and more. Also, check out Deathmatch Russell podcast as well. www.bootandheel.com.